You know, every day comes with new consequences and information surrounding the federal investigation into local DWI officers.
So just last week, a former paralegal took a deal in the case, revealing more about the alleged bribes officers took from local attorneys to make sure their clients' cases were dismissed. A year ago, the feds only had confirmed that the Albuquerque Police Department was involved, but now we know they're also looking at the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department and state police too. An Albuquerque police officer put on leave Friday in connection to the alleged corruption has decided today to remain silent.
Both Lieutenant Matthew Chavez and Lieutenant Kyle Curtis were supposed to speak with APD investigators today, but this afternoon we learned Lieutenant Curtis put in for retirement just last night. So let's get to Brittany Costello, because Brittany, you sat down with APD Chief Harold Medina today, and you know, as we wait to see how exactly this plays out criminally, there's still a lot going on right now internally at APD.
Absolutely. For the last year, Chief Medina says they've been combing through DWI cases involving their officers and attorney Thomas Clear, as well as video evidence from those stops or arrests. Chief Medina says you can bet there are more officers involved than we know of right now, saying through the department's internal process, they discovered allegations similar to what we know about this scheme dating back to 2003. Newly filed federal court documents are exposing the inner workings of an alleged DWI corruption scheme involving at least one local defense attorney and officers at our state's 3 largest police departments. A dozen Albuquerque police officers are on the growing list. What do you say to the community, people who are thinking, how on earth can we trust this police department?
You know, I think they need to look at where we're at right now.
Albuquerque Police Chief Harold Medina says a special DWI task force is handling the administrative investigation, going through cases, looking at every officer who had interactions with attorney Thomas Clear III.
At the time that this occurred, I looked and I immediately recognized I had a lot of people in internal affairs with the DWI history, including the major over the unit, the commander over the unit. I knew that. And I stated from the very beginning I would leave no stone unturned. And that is still my commitment to this city. The first to be charged related to the corruption scheme, paralegal Rick Mendez says he worked with almost the entire APD DWI unit for a period of time. Chief Medina blames many systematic failures for allowing the scheme to span more than a decade. Is there more to put on these people who are in a supervisory position? As for the latest supervisor, we've gotten no indications that he's been involved.
But I guess people are like, why couldn't he? You know, when you think about a supervisor, you just think of someone who should have a grasp on the people they're watching.
He was out there doing DWIs every day, when maybe he should have been out there supervising his squad every day. And it's kind of hard to completely fault somebody for working hard and being out there and trying to make a difference.
There are a bunch of reform efforts happening right now at the department to prevent this kind of misconduct in the future. Several agencies are putting together an official process to notify and track when an officer doesn't show up to court. We'll have more on that at 10 tonight. But we wanted to know more about these unnamed officers and what's being done to protect the public as this investigation plays out. We'll have much more on that tonight at 6. Back to you.
Brittany, good job breaking down what we know so far. And yes, as we mentioned, the recent plea deal also made allegations involving BCSO and New Mexico State Police, saying officers from both agencies were involved. We do know one Bernalillo County deputy has been placed on leave. In a statement today, we heard from State Police Chief Troy Weisler saying, if we determine members of the state police were involved, they will be dealt with swiftly and decisively. And at this time, we have no evidence to believe that our officers are involved. For investigator Ryan Laughlin found out that's not what the feds are saying.
One of the major revelations in the public filing was this is beyond APD and includes Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office and the New Mexico State Police Department. How do we know that?
Based on the evidence that we've collected up to this point. We weren't going to name someone in any kind of affidavit if we didn't think there was something that was there that needed to be addressed. We're only going to follow the actual facts and the evidence that we have. They wouldn't have been named if we didn't think there was something there to it. Remember, there's a lot more to this investigation that hasn't been revealed, but it will be in due time. But it's better for people to come forward and get in front of things than to sit back and hope that they don't come get me.
The damage a few police officers have done to the badge is certainly not lost on federal investigators.
Why should anybody trust police or a system that has allowed this alleged scheme to operate for decades? So many New Mexicans are asking that question, and for investigator Ryan Laughlin sat down with federal investigators today after they revealed, Ryan, this scheme, again, allegedly goes way beyond APD.
BCSO and New Mexico State Police are on notice after that bombshell plea deal claims this DWI deception extends to multiple agencies. Now, today, they are asking for people with knowledge of this scheme to come forward, which begs the question, why should the public trust these law enforcement officers over the ones that have so badly hurt public trust? Well, the FBI Special Agent in Charge, Raul Bojanda, and U.S. Attorney for New Mexico, Alex Ubaez, drew a clear line today. They say, well, they are a part of this community. There's a distinction between the feds investigating this case and the city and state operators that allowed this scheme to go undetected for years. Why should the public trust you guys?
Sure. That's a great question. It's because it's our job to do the right thing, right? It's because we are the ones pursuing this 15-year near scheme. It's because that's what the public needs, frankly.
Bujanda told me the most shocking part of this RICO case, which is a crime that is typically reserved for criminal enterprise operations like drug trafficking and gun running, is that it's cops that's operating this scheme, and that hurts the image for everyone carrying a badge.
When that trust is broken, it's hard to rebuild. These individuals, these bad apples that decided to take the law into their own hands have hurt that trust. And all I can say, it's going to take us time. It's going to take results.
What would results in this case look like that would help to earn the trust back?
People paying for the crimes that they have committed. It's these law enforcement officers that are no longer, that stopped being a law enforcement officer the very moment they decided to take $1 from someone because they thought they wanted to go ahead and enrich themselves instead of doing the right thing.
But what about the timing? Why now? As a President Biden appointee, U.S. Attorney Alex Ubaez is very likely on his way out. Is this investigation getting rushed, or is this a political timing for motivating this pursuit of justice right now? We pressed Ubaez on the curious timing of all of this and asked why the dominoes are starting to fall now. We're going to have more time to get into that at 6 o'clock. Guys?
All right.